Well, 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 would you look at the time? Splasher 6 here with a little surprise stream on a Friday afternoon in the upper Midwest. Welcome in, everybody. This will be a non flying stream today because we're going to take a little tour of the add on upgrade to Flight Sim, Microsoft Flight Sim for Thorpe Abbotts, the location that the 100th Bomb Group flew from that I worked with. Well, I didn't work with them actually, they did all the work. Wolfman Slack and Jeppesen 2001 did a incredible job, as you'll see here. And I am not going to stay on the webcam very long because this is about Thorpe Abbotts, and we're going to do a little drone tour over the next half an hour or so. If we get some more activity in chat, we'll extend it on from there. But if you'll look in chat right now, you'll see a couple of links I put in there for being able to acquire this add-on scenery to the Microsoft Flight Sim. And there's two links there to flightsim.to where this can be uploaded and added to Microsoft Flight Sim. So the second one is a link to the 100th Bomb Group, which flew out of this base at Thorpe Abbotts from 1943 to 1945. And what you'll be seeing here is a pretty good representation of how most of the base looked like in 1940, during the World War II, and with a little bit of new sprinkled in too, as to how the control tower area has been renovated to current day museum, honoring the 100th Bomb Group. So with that, I'm going to go off camera and you'll hear my voice and we'll take a little drone tour. So there we go. So we're starting out at hard stand number 47, which is in the area of where the 418th Squadron was based. And there was 4 squadrons in the 100th Bomb Group. The 349th, as I get my drone skills honed here, the 349th, the 350th, and the 351st, and the 418th. As you'll see here, Wolfman Slack did all of the taxiways and the scenery other than the area around the renovated control tower where the museum is. All the buildings around the museum and the control tower were done by Jeppesen 2001. And if you'll look in the intro, if you go on my Discord channel for the announcement of this, you'll see links to each of their locations on flightsim.to. And what we'll do first here is just take a look around. We'll do a little skyward view as we look around to different areas on the grounds. At the time of operations, the 100th Bomb Group had around 2,500 people based here, and it was like a city of its own. And all the areas that you're looking at here are the different living quarters that Wolfman Slack has started to represent, with stock buildings available, and has done a pretty darn good job. We're looking at the main runway here, which runs approximately east and west, and then the two cross runways are over here. And every now and then I have to square up the horizon, forgive me. But this is the area right here of the 4/18th hard stands. And over here was the place they call the bomb dump, where all the bombs were stored. And we'll come back down to earth here and move the drone around. And we're moving approximately to the west. This base, which was called Station 139, was located near the East Anglia village of Diss and closer to the smaller village of Thorpe Abbotts. Thorpe Abbotts is pretty much a crossroads. I'll bring up a map here that shows the area of England, referred to East Anglia. And here's Diss. And as my dad used to say, if you find Ipswich and Norwich, Ipswich being down right here, and Norwich being up in this area, there we go, right there. Thorpe Abbotts is about halfway in between. There, right in there. So we'll take that off for a minute to give you guys all an idea of the general location where we're at in the world. And what I set about to have represented here, and what Wolfman Slack and Jeppesen have done quite well, is a kind of a combination of new and old. I wanted the operations of the base with the buildings and structures to represent the time period of operations from 43 to 45. And yet I wanted the control tower area to represent modern times, to show that the locals at around Thorpe Abbotts area, the effort they put in to restore the control tower and grounds to make it a first-class museum. So we're going to move towards the west end of the main runway. And I'm probably going to get this wrong, but I know where the 4/18th hard stand areas are, and I hope whoever is watching this, who is much more knowledgeable about the grounds at Thorpe Abbotts, will correct me on this, and I will fully accept it. But I believe this area right in here is the 349th hard stand area. As we move closer to the east along the runway, and as you'll notice, this was rural England in the early 1940s, and a lot of the surrounding areas were working farms that had families living there, and as a result, a lot of the children who grew up in the area were common visitors to the airbase, and a lot of relationships developed during that time of the young children who were there, and were met by the ground crews and the airmen who flew from Thorpe Abbotts, and a lot of relationships were established back then, and books written actually in later years about those relationships. So it was it was an interesting dichotomy of worlds that came together. the the Americans and the bomber pilots and the ground crew. And every time I fly the drone, and for those of you not familiar watching this, who maybe watch this on a later, there is a drone feature within Microsoft Flight Simulator that you can switch to operate a drone cam. And every now and then the horizon gets crooked, as you'll see, and I have to hit the space bar to square it up. Don't know why that happens, but we're moving towards the control tower area, which is the handiwork of Jeppesen 2001. Viper Strike 95, welcome in.
Flight 209, now arriving Gate 8. Gate 9. Gate 10.
We're doing a little tour of Thorpe Abbotts. This add-on scenery is available through flightsim.to, and it just got uploaded and updated by none other than Wolfman Slack and Jeppesen 2001. And what I'm going to do now is adjust the timeline a little bit. I wanted this time of the day to have a little backlighting, and I'm going to move the sun just a little bit, and so it's not as close to sundown, so we have a little better lighting. With the sun low in the sky like this, it's hard to get the sun placed in the right place, so everything looks good and shows up. So this is how the control tower and surrounding grounds looks today. In the late 70s, the group of local citizens around the Thorpe Abbotts area decided to acquire the tower, which was still standing. It was used as a pig barn and a hay barn for the local farmer who owned the land. And the local citizens got together and met with the local landowner, and they surveyed off tract of land around the control tower and secured a 100-year lease from the landowner for like $1 or £1. And the story begins of renovation of the control tower. Thank you, Viper Strike. Much appreciated. All the credit goes to Wolfman Slack and Jeppesen 2001 on this. I was just kind of the energizing and driving force around getting this done in a timely manner before Masters of the Air debuted in January. So anyway, back to the museum story. In the late 70s, they acquired the land around the museum and began a 5 to 6 year renovation process. They had to completely gut the museum structure and rebuild a lot of wall surfaces and floors, and clean everything up and replace windows and glass on the greenhouse, as they call it, up above on the roof. Repair the stairs. It was a long, hard process, and finally the museum was ready to be debuted in the early 1980s. And they also built some of the Quonset huts that you'll see around here also. Now, some of the vehicles here have been added by Jeppesen, but and the tent. But here is one thing that he included was the plaque, the dedication plaques. And if I can get there we go. It says in memoriam, 100th Bomb Group, Thorpe Abbotts, England, November 1942 to October 1945. And then over here, if I can get a little closer, this control tower has been restored as a museum and memorial and is dedicated to the men of the 100th Bomb Group H who served the cause of freedom from this airfield in 1943 to 1945. Squadrons 349th, 350th, 351st, and 418th. And supporting units, ground units, 13th of the 13th Combat Wing of the 8th Air Force of the United States Army Air Force. Museum dedicated in May of 1981. So that's when it all began. Now, I'll point out right away, as you'll notice, the two flags flying on the flagpole is a bug that is in my community folder somewhere I have not found yet. So somewhere I've got a conflict with two flagpoles. But for the rest of you, you'll see one flag. That's the large one, and it does work properly. So you also notice that on the roof of the Thorpe Abbotts Museum control tower is TA for Thorpe Abbotts for those flying over. And then there's also other buildings of the museum. Right here, these outbuildings are also part of the museum. And then museum operations office is in this building here. And also there is also a gift shop in this part of the building also. So that gives us some other things to look at as we come around to a different view. This little garden area here where the flag is based, that has also been added in the last 10 years. Nice little addition to the grounds. Now, over here is another little thing that Jeppesen 2001 added. This is not what you will see at the current view at Thorpe Abbotts Museum, but we decided we'd add a little bit of what if the hard stands were still there. It might be a nice little addition to see a couple of mock-up B-17s on hard stands and what the operations look like around it. So this is fictitious right here to modern days. And those of you watching who are 100th Bomb Group experts, you'll notice that as I figure out how to run things, this is the Royal Flush. This is the 418th Squadron plane that my dad flew, and also will be shown in the Masters of the Air coming up, flown by a different pilot. But this would not have been the hard stand for Royal Flush, and probably not for the other plane, which is Heaven Sent. So we knew that coming in, but we wanted to represent a couple of planes from the 100th on the hard stands to show kind of a representation of how things might have looked at a hard stand during operations. And that's what we have here, the handiwork of Jeppesen 2001. Those of you in the flight sim community who have any of his add-ons will definitely recognize that name. So as we're moving on, as we turn to the east, moving away from the control tower, what you'll see here in this grove of trees that has grown over, buried down inside of there, and it's not depicted here in the add-on, but this would have been the command headquarters in the event of an airfield attack or a ground attack. What you would see in real life, which is still there, is a underground bunker that was large enough, had 3 or 4 rooms, and was large enough to house emergency operations if there was an impending attack. Command, I think they called it command headquarters. Emergency command headquarters. So here's another look towards the east of the control tower area. As we move along around the taxiway, around to the east end of the main runway and the northeast end of one of the cross runways. So what we're going to do, so we have better lighting, is move our way down across runway, and I'm pretty sure this area in here is the 350th Squadron hard stand area. Again, somebody from who knows Thorpe Abbotts better than I, definitely chime in. So we're going to take a turn. So we have the sun to our backs, because there's some other things we'll follow along here on the hard stand or the taxiway, because these are a few features that Wolfman Slack built into the scenery when he created it. Was some static B-17s from another source, so you're not going to see square D B-17s here, unfortunately. They were static B-17s that he acquired from another source, and with permission, of course, and placed on hard stands near the area where this is the main maintenance area. Excuse me. Of the hard stands near where the 350th would have had their hard stands. Jay Winokur, this is the best looking World War II airfield I've seen. Extremely realistic and ground textures. Thank you very much, Jay Winokur. I've said over and over, all the credit goes to Wolfman Slack and Jeppesen 2001. But if you look up in the chat, in the beginning of chat, there's the link to acquire this add-on for those of you who are flight simmers and want to fly from here. It's ICAO code has been created as EG39, and it is available for free download from flightsim.to with the link above. So Jay Winokur, much appreciated. Thank you very much. It's good to know that y'all are out there and appreciate this. And I think there's going to be a lot more interest in this as Masters of the Air becomes available. I began thinking about this about a year ago. I've done a couple streams from here before. Awesome. Very good. Thank you very much. Very cool. I got to thinking about this about a year before, and my problem is I know nothing about scenery creation in Microsoft Flight Sim. So I had to get somebody excited about doing this, and I had found Wolfman Slack about a year and a half ago. Don't remember how our paths crossed. I saw some of the work he did on other airfields in England, and one thing led to another. He got interested in this, and I had him do an earlier version with just the taxiways, the hard stands, and the runways, and we got that out and available for upload on FSTO. But this is the latest version. We also got Jeppesen 2001 interested in this, and he did all of the buildings around the control towers, and all of those are custom made buildings. Those you won't find in any base stock anywhere. I supplied him with a lot of current day photos of the building and grounds around the museum, and he went to work and did his magic. So again, this is the hard stand area around the main maintenance shop on the base. This is where any repairs would have been done. And for any other questions and detailed answers, I strongly recommend going to the 100thbombgroup.com page. And I'll pull this over on the screen here right now. It's newly updated, and this is a culmination of the work of about the last 3 years. Ian Fisher, good evening. Welcome in. 3 years worth of work by volunteer effort from the 100th Bomb Group, and this is a fantastic website. There's the ability to join the 100th Bomb Group Foundation, which I would strongly urge for, I think, roughly $35 a year. You get a quarterly, very nicely done magazine of articles that relate to the 100th and the legacy. And so there's a database here. As you can see, there's pop-ups. You can explore all the different aircraft by tail number and name. And then what else? Database, personnel, alphabetical by last name. Just had amazing depth of search that you can do. And then the photo database. Where is the MACRs, missing aircrew, KIAs, POWs, images. Here's the images, the photo gallery, thousands of photos to peruse. Different collections from different family members and original vets that were been donated and scanned over the years. DH Paradox, good evening. Welcome in. We're doing a little tour of Thorpe Abbotts, and I'm just taking people through the what is available from the 100th Bomb Group website. Let's see. If you look at some of these pictures here, so you can click on each photo and go to a larger version. There's just an incredible amount of detail. This particular shows landing accidents. So we can go back to the main page and look at different family collections that were added. Many pages. So that is a little bit of a tour of the 100th Bomb Group website. I'll take that off right now. We'll go back to the tour of the airfield. The other thing we have here to look at, we'll look at in a minute here, is the flightsim.to website where you can acquire this. And let me get back to there we go. How's DH doing this evening? Thanks a lot for popping in and checking things out as we move along in the drone cam around to the south end of the runway area and following the taxiway. We'll come around to some of the different areas that were done by Wolfman Slack. So I just got home. Awesome. So what we have here is I supplied a map of the grounds to Wolfman Slack, and he not all buildings are represented. There's hundreds of buildings on the grounds for operations, living quarters, and various other required buildings. But he took a bulk of all of them, and with using standard stock available buildings through different sources, he took and placed these all in as best proximity that he could to where they were located in the map. And what you'll see here is I'll come around here so we can see this with the sun to our backs. Now these buildings here, or these structures here, these berm structures are bomb shelters, and they're pretty accurate to what was located on the grounds at the time. There's a link to Jay Winokur.
Got to be another one in there. Yep,
And Ian
another
Fisher.
one in there.
So definitely DH Paradox there going too. Viper Strikes taking
He got
care of some
Sturmgewehr, I think.
admin
So
shout outs
tonight,
there for other streamers who follow
gonna be
my
flying
stream
over Portugal.
and our supporters. Much appreciated. So anyway, I think what we're going to do, so we have the sun to our back in a better orientation. We're going to go to the southern end of the grounds, and right over here to our left, a little bit further. Well, can't see it from here. Is where Thorpe Abbotts, the village of Thorpe Abbotts, is located. We're going to go to the southern end of the grounds, and I don't have the map right handy to be able to tell you exactly what all of these locations are. But I can tell you this. They're in the proper location for where they were located. I'll be getting ready for my VA's new hub, KPIT, soon. Excellent. Liam, that is correct. RAF Thorpe Abbotts in England. You are correct. As it would have been laid out during the time it was used for the 100th Bomb Group. This is available in flightsim.to for Microsoft Flight Sim. And with the coming release of Masters of the Air, which will portray operations of the 100th Bomb Group. I've been working with a couple of developers to get this in the sim for those of you who want to fly operations out of, to and from Thorpe Abbotts. So Wolfman Slack and Jeppesen 2001 did I think a bang-up job on this. A lot of time was put into this. A lot of volunteer time was put into this to represent Thorpe Abbotts as it was. Yes, unfortunately, this is a Microsoft Flight Sim add-on only, Ian. I hope somebody sees this and gets inspired to do this for P3D. But right now, this is only available for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, as we call it sometimes. So you'll see living quarters here with the Nissen huts laid out as they were during the war. And the one area I do know by memory, which is accurate, is coming up here, is called Site 5. And that is this site right here. And this is for the living quarters for the enlisted men for the 418th Squadron. And we'll square that up again. There we go. And back in 2014, I had the great honor to be able to tour this area. And now this area is all grown up. There's you can see foundations of the bomb shelters, and you can see some foundations of the buildings. But these were all quick fab, what they called Nissen huts for the time, basic living quarters, which now this area is all forested. We had to hike back through here and make our way through the brush and the brambles and the bushes to be able to see what was left of this area. But these are the living quarters, the different areas, and I will take you over to another place that I do know what it was. So for those of you watching this later who are not familiar with Microsoft Flight Sim, there is not a B-17 available in Microsoft Flight Simulator yet, but there will be. There is a developer who is currently working on a flying B-17 for the sim, and the timeline on that, according to their Discord, is going to be sometime next year about this time for release. But this little area, what we're looking at here, is the waste treatment plant. Like I said, this is like a city of 2,500 to 3,500 people. So there was running water and there was sewage treatment. So that all had to be taken care of, and this is the area that they did it. Now, the one thing that does need to be worked on, that some of the experts of watching this who know Thorpe Abbotts will point out, is we had to use hedgerows for the fencing, for the borders, for the different areas. Fencing was not available apparently in the scenery, so we had to lay these out, and the best we could find was something that looked like a hedge. So we do know that needs to be worked on in the future for complete accuracy. But this is the other areas around. Somewhere in the area here is called the WAF site, and I think this is where my dad quartered, was in this area right here, if I remember the crossroads properly. But the other area that we will move towards is the engineering. And I know this area because that's what my dad did after he flew his missions. And for those of you who don't know, new to the channel or new to my streaming, is my dad was 100th Bomb Group pilot from April of 1944 to July of 1944 when he flew his 35 missions. And he flew in the plane by the name of the Royal Flush. The Royal Flush was a rather famous plane before he had it in October of 43. It was the only plane to come back in the group to come back from the Munster mission. 12 or 13 planes were sent out, and only the Royal Flush came back. It was a rather infamous, which I'm pretty sure you're going to see reenacted on Masters of the Air coming in January of 24. So I think this area right in here is the 350th. So we've had the 349th, the 350th, 351st. Voyaging CA. The U.S. didn't seem to spare any expense during the war. Built up and expanded a lot of bases around the world. Yes, they did. It was this was actually planned as an RAF base to begin with, but as the build-up began in East Anglia, they acquired it from the RAF and built it as a bomber base. So the buildings were pretty Spartan. I mean, they were just basic, wood floors, tin roofs, and thin tar paper walls. So coal burning stoves in the middle of each of the the huts, the living quarters, and so it wasn't luxurious living, but it was a roof over your head. And this is the area of the base engineering, which Dad, after he flew his missions, he worked in this area. But voyaging, thanks for the first time in chat. If you like what you see, normally I fly, but today is a little special hour long. Looks like we're burning into an hour. Tour of a add-on scenery that is available from FSTO that I've been involved with for about a year now. That Wolfman Slack and Jeppesen 2001 have been hard at work, toiling at this to get this to where it's at right now. There are spawn-in points on at least 16 of the hard stands. So if you fly to or from here, you don't have to spawn in at the end of the runway. That is one thing that I insisted upon. And so we'll make our way around the taxiway here a little bit further to the 418th area. And if you like what you see, I'll be flying tonight. I'll have this up on my Discord very soon. I'll be flying tonight on another series that I'm doing, flying to all the locations that my dad trained at in his pilot training journey in World War II. And tonight we're flying the DC-6 from Salt Lake City to another custom airfield that will be debuting tonight in the sim to Pyote, Texas, otherwise known as the Rattlesnake Air Base, an area base where he trained B-17 crew training. So if you like that, throw down a follow, and you'll be able to watch me tonight fly the DC-6 from Hill Air Force Base in the Salt Lake City area down to Pyote, Texas, which is out near Midland and Pecos. So Foxtrot, welcome in. We're doing just a short tour of Thorpe Abbotts. Scary stuff, your dad's a hero thing. Getting into one of these things. Thank you. Much appreciated voyage. He was very subdued about it. I always knew, he talked about it, the fact that he was a B-17 pilot, but he didn't let a whole lot of people know. And later on in his life, in the last 25 years of his life, he kind of made it a goal to get all of his remaining crew together, and to get them to a 100th Bomb Group reunion, which occurred every other year. And from about 1985 till about 2001, he got that done. He got in touch with all the remaining crew members one by one, and one by one or in a group. Some of them came to multiple reunions. Sometimes we had a group of about 5 or 6 of the original crew members. Sometimes it was just one. But we would all get together at the 100th Bomb Group reunions. And Dad passed away in 2008 at the age of 90, and was sharp as a tack, and his mind was clear and sharp right up to the last day. But his body just failed him in many manners. So I had the great honor of meeting just about all the crew members except 2, and at all of the different various reunions that we went to. So these were my heroes, these guys. Yep. And I got to meet a lot of the men who will be portrayed in the upcoming series Masters of the Air, at the different reunions I went to. This is the bomb dump area. All these berms were where they stored the munitions, the bombs. So all the loadout guys would come out to this area at the beginning of missions early in the morning and load up trucks. And typically a mission from a bomb group was about anywhere from 12 to 18 bombers, depending on how the operations were going and how many planes they had available. So I'm mainly doing this to raise interest to the folks who are not Microsoft Flight Sim familiar, and hopefully to get some of the people who are interested in World War II history, especially the younger generation. We need this to remember what these guys did, and the sacrifices they made for freedom, because it was dire times, and they stepped up. So we're going to go back to where I'm parked in the Beechcraft D-18, and to show the hard stands. And I've been debating on where to close out the stream here, because I'm going to stream tonight, later on tonight around 8 p.m. Central Time, which is going to be early in the morning for the European crowd. Forgive me, but I wanted to do this to catch all of you, so it's not too late at night. And we're going to close out this up at the control tower. So I only intended this to be maybe a half an hour to an hour long. And I'm going to invite the rest of you. Too late for me later, so catch you next time. No problem, Ian. I know it's getting late for all of you over across the pond, but much appreciated for you to stop in and say hi. And so with that, I'll come back on the screen here so you all can see me. Hey, I'll invite you to join up with me later on tonight, those of you in the States, and fly with me on the next leg of the cadet training tour. Those of you who are following along with me on that. That will start at, I'm going to start at 8 p.m. Central Time tonight. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this. For those of you who, pardon me, who are watching me, who are my people of the 100th Bomb Group Foundation, thank you for following along and watching this. I hope this is something that I've represented with respect and accuracy as best we can to the 100th Bomb Group and the men and women who served. So with that, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to look for somebody who we can raid out to. So since we are doing a stream, even though it is a short stream, let's see who's flying here. Ian Fisher is flying, or else he is getting to the end of his flight. Let's see if he's still around, if he's signed out or not. Let's see, looking over on my laptop here. Waiting for the commercial to play. I see Bossman Gaming. I see Iceman. He's doing iRacing. I see Kaharia. I see the Duke Nukem. I see Factual Gull. So I do see Ian Fisher still flying. So we're going to raid out to Ian Fisher. He is another supporter of my stream and World War II aviation aficionado, and he looks like he's flying in P3D right now in a P-51 Mustang, looking so good. So with that, I'm going to say see you next time, and catch me tonight if you want to on my next stream. And with that, I'm going to say splasher out, and thanks again. Take care.